Vedavysapriya Maharaj, Swami's mother, who is an initiated devotee, recalls his traditional Brahmanical initiation at the age of 7. And he received Brahmana thread and Danda staff. She has a photo of him taken at this time, which she plans to share with us when she remembers to bring it. Maharaj recollects that he is always more interested in spiritual matters and welfare of the people than in any business matters. And Maharaj worked as a research biochemist first in East Africa, then later when he migrated to USA within a week of arrival to US, he met the devotees, disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And he had a chance to visit Vrindavan in 1975. That brought Maharaj close to meeting Srila Prabhupada. Came to Vrindavan one day before Srila Prabhupada's scheduled visit, and having becoming a life member in 1974, was invited by the Vrindavan devotees to stay overnight for the opportunity to meet Srila Prabhupada. Following year 1976, Vedavysapriya Maharaj became more involved with the local temple in New York in liaising between the local Indian community and the temple, and in August managed to hear the conversation of Srila Prabhupada with life members. Following day was Radha Yatra. At that time, Srila Prabhupada was very sick and well protected by his closest disciple and servant, so the opportunity for personal interaction was not there. But he got his first darshan while Srila Prabhupada was getting into Sri Subhadra Maharani's cart. And Srila Prabhupada was able to give only a short lecture during Radha Yatra, which was attended by Maharaj. And Maharaj continued to have association with Srila Prabhupada disciples who instilled in him their enthusiasm for his divine grace, Krishna conscious philosophy. And he took shelter of Srila Prabhupada and has received initiation beads and spiritual names sent from Srila Prabhupada, who, due to his poor health, was unable to personally attend the initiation ceremony. Maharaj recalls at that time his preaching mood was already strong. He inspired two of his close friends and fellow life members to be initiated at the same time, as he was persuading them that they would always be in regret if they missed this opportunity. With that, we humbly offer our obeisances on Maharaj's lotus feet. All glories to you, Maharaj. Please start the discussion.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jatapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanutam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanutamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudamani Charini Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Since I have been quarantined in the month of March, 13th March, I was so much puzzled that what should I do? How do I, communicate more? Because this was an indefinite time period that we were locked down. So I started with Sikshastakam and the efficacy of the holy name that was been explained through Haridas Thakur in Harinam Chintamani by Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj. Then I thought Harinam Chintamani is ending at Bhajana Pranali. That is too much to go for. So I immediately turned back into Bhakti Samarth Sindhu And we completed the first part, which was generally, and in Bhakti Shastri teachings, they do not teach the second, third, and fourth part, only the first part, because it is going into the higher and higher the categorization of bhakti. And then I thought, well, Madhurya Kandamini will suffice it. So I finished even Madhurya Kandamini in about 10 days and preach. But we gathered that every aspect of devotional service is being covered. Then I realized that somehow or other, Srila Sanatana Goswami, he is prompted to write Brihad Bhagavatamritam as an essence, and how ornamentally he crocheted and intertwined and the whole episode of what Parikshit Maharaj got the essence from Sukadeva Goswami. And this inquiry started from his own mother, Uttara, because when the Lord entered her womb to save Parikshit Maharaj, she also became so pure, and she had, inclination to learn the essence of Sukadeva Goswami's teachings. And there was hardly any time left, if we see. Sukadeva Goswami, after 7 days, he left the arena, taught the entire Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, who heard it very attentively. Then there was some lower period before Takshak could arrive and kill Parikshit Maharaj. But as we know, right from the birth, Parikshit Maharaj was a pure devotee. And Prabhupada said pure devotee can counteract everything that comes as a hurdle in his execution of devotional service. If he wanted, he could have counteracted Kali's influence, and Kali would not do anything. But being the agent of the time of Lord Shri Krishna, somehow or another, some intellectual deliberation in Krishna consciousness for the eternal truth to be upheld. If Kali would not have given a notice of the short duration that all of us have, we would not become serious even to understand the purpose of life and how to become successful in it. And the means and everything is there. But taking up this particular incident of Uttara, which begins the inquiry, that she wanted her son to describe in essence, the nectar of what Parikshit Maharaj received from Sukadeva Goswami. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam comprises of about 18,000 slokas, and here very short time is there. And Brihad Bhagavatamritam was compiled in about little more than 2,500 slokas. But nonetheless, everything has to be told in nutshell, but so precise, so perfect that an actual journey in devotional service can easily be traced down in our own examples through Brihad Bhagavatamritam. you know. So I felt very compelled to take it seriously. And when I started Bhagavatamritam, uh, all the devotees were also so much responding, that really this is the parameter, the guideline to check our devotional progress. And what do we gain actually by attending Srimad Bhagavatam through page wise, and all these slokas and Prabhupada's purports have been so deliberately given, and so much so is there in detail. But when it comes to understand the transcendental nature of the dealings of Lord Shri Krishna with his devotees, intimate devotees, the transcendental nature always, become a perplexing item. Uh, when we grow in devotional service, we start from our basic nature of material world, and we do not know anything other than we have been given the Mahamantra, we have been initiated, and we are performing some devotional service. But the stillness, or what we call the jarta. Jarta means a very not easy flowing devotional service. That because of our material nature of the three modes, we have been also so much conditioned that the mellowness of the transcendental nature does not flow that easily in our practice of devotional service. We confront so many other issues also that day to day it is changing. And our commitment to Srila Prabhupada is spiritual. Our process of protecting ISKCON and go through the rules and regulations is also an very arduous task. It is very difficult. So how much we can really make a tangible progress in our spiritual growth is remaining mainly a question. We can become sincere, we can become serious, but what is the parameter to understand that we are really spiritually growing? So when we read Brihad Bhagavatamritam, which is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, as told by Sukadeva Goswami, is now being spoken through Maharaj Parikshit for the query and satisfaction of his mother. And there also one important point comes in the first part or the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. The prelude is there that Maharaj Janmejaya, the son of Parikshit Maharaj, after he went back to Godhead, was so much engrossed in taking revengeful activities against the race of snakes. And he would invoke the snakes to fall in the fire pit of the yajna that he was called. And he was then requested by Brahma and other and demigods that please stop. You are not allowed like this. Every living entity is created by the Lord. They cannot be, mistreated. Revenge is for one snake. You can't take toll of the entire race of the snakes. So anyway, this prelude becomes quite a touching moment for Maharaj Janmejaya. And he would like, Jaimini Rishi to tell this portion of Mahabharata. Because somehow or other, Mahabharata will stop only up to Parikshit Maharaj, then Kali will take over. But this Vaishampayan Rishi told Mahabharata to Janmejaya and everybody else to appease them for the loss of their father, Maharaj Parikshit. But Jaimini Rishi was also sitting near Parikshit, just on the side. Sukdev Goswami allowed him to sit near so he can pay rapt attention to the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Jaimini Rishi, he's also a very exalted personality. Of course, he has been putting his hands on karma mimansa, some kind of, a little atheistic bent. But at the same time, when it comes to a very conclusive aspect of devotion to Lord Shri Krishna, he also recomposes himself. So Janmeja is requesting Jaimini Rishi that, my dear Guru Maharaj, Vaishampayan told us all the Mahabharata with a sad end, and that is hurting. Can you please tell or recall the subject matter of Mahabharata with a very happy ending? So this was the kind of request Janmeja asked. So Sanatan Goswami picks up this particular point and starts writing the exhilarating effect of pure devotional service, which is surpassing even the pains and pangs of death. So nobody would feel that life is horrible or going back home, back to Godhead is not having a sweet end. When Lord Shri Krishna reciprocated with all different kinds of devotees, how could there be any feeling of pain, of separation, or Krishna is not properly reciprocating with them? What are the intricate situations? So this was the prelude that Jaimini Rishi is telling, that Maharaj Parikshit's mother Uttara came rushing. As soon as Sukdev Goswami left, he had few moments or some leash of time before Takshak could arrive. So Uttara is rushing, my dear son, oh, you are so fortunate to have heard Srimad Bhagavatam in very great details from Sukadeva Goswami. You are already on the liberated platform, but plus be merciful upon me. Can you speak what is the concise essence of Srimad Bhagavatam to me? I know you have very critical time approaching to leave the body, but she also knew, but she is becoming so much concerned about her own salvation because she doesn't have now anybody. But Abhimanyu, Uttara's husband, was killed in Mahabharata, and on the other hand, now Parikshit is also leaving the body. So who is there for the mother? So she requested, and Parikshit Maharaj immediately reciprocated. And he reciprocated in the sense of so much urgency that he said, Mother, you know that I'm about to die. Huh? But still, I will make it for you, and I will try to speak in concise. And this concisement is of over 2,500 slokas. But Sanatana Goswami so cleverly puts through the Srimad Bhagavatam. He takes us on the journey of all the way to Golok Vrindavan through Narada Muni, because Narada Muni is a rasacharya. He knows, but at the same time, that is the primary aspect. But then in detail, the secondary aspect, that was the Gopakumar. The two journeys are not the same journey, but at the same time, they are complementary to each other. Gopakumar is nowhere. He's a total stranger to devotional service. Even though he was a Brahmin from Mathura, but he was, coming, to the eastern side. So he got initiated by Kamakhya Devi with the approval of Lord Shiva and given Gopal Mantra. And wow, what a journey it is, starting from the ignorant situation, then on the own, experiences, gradually rising to different stages of experiences, and through experiential understanding, Gopakumar is giving us a very detailed, progressive aspect of devotional services. He becomes an example himself, and we will be finishing the second volume also soon. But the point is that it takes us to such an exalted situation. But what I understood, I have been mesmerized by Sanatana Goswami's skill of the beautiful compilation of Brihad Bhagavatam. Rupa Goswami is very scientifically, organizing, classifying the stages of devotion, the definition of pure devotion, and so many things that is included in the devotional service. So he lays the foreground in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, all the aspects of devotional service as a theoretical thing. And of course, appropriate examples were given from Srimad Bhagavatam, and that has been cited in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as a rasacharya. But here, Sanatana Goswami, is putting us on a kind of self-inspection journey from our own point of view. That how do we check our progress in devotional service ourselves? So the criteria he has been, describing in Brihad Bhagavatamritam is of a very excellent nature, with so many pros and cons and arguments and convincing nature in his purpose. That Gopi Baranathan Prabhu, my god brother, when he was translating, he was completely immersed. And he was also at par to give his commentary, Digdarshani commentary, uh, and elaborating Sanatan Goswami's commentary with so many applicable quotes, uh, and back and forth, they will take us to Srimad Bhagavatam. This is confirmed, this is confirmed, this is confirmed. And it becomes a volume of the matter of Brihad Bhagavatam. So it is easy to read and assimilate also. And it gives us more impetus to become serious devotee. So I would like to request all of you to study systematically Brihad Bhagavatam, just like Srimad Bhagavatam. Sanatan Goswami, his life history is generally known, but Gopi Parandan Prabhu has done quite good elaborate research. The great grandfather of Sanatan and Rupa Goswami, he had some quarrel with his brother. They are coming from Karnataka, Saraswati Brahman family. So this great grandfather, the names are also given, but he left Karnataka and came to what we call Gaudadesh. Now the jurisdiction of Gaudadesh is in the upper part of West Bengal, where Malda is the current city. And after the Ganges across Malda, this area is Gaudadesh, and Jessore has been the capital at that time. And during the time, the Nawabs were there. So the great grandfather of our Goswamis, three of them, he was engaged in the service of Nawab. Some name is there, but then subsequently Sanatan Goswami's grandfather also joined, and after him Sanatan Goswami's father was also entrusted the similar position, and in turn Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Anupam, these three were remain in that region. So Nawab engaged them, and because even though the family names are different, Nawab were imposing the Islamic name on them, and they were all ostracized from three generations. So virtually they do not have some kind of accept of culture. Even his great grandfather was an ardent scholar in the Vedic studies. At the same time, his grandfather, his father, and ultimately the Srimad Bhagavatam was the most favorite subject for all the three brothers. And they were hearing the advent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and their feeling was that somehow they would like to see him, but they could not get out from Jeso. that is the kingdom, but Ramakeli was their resident place. And where Padma River is there, the Ganges also on that side is there. So Sanatan Goswami wrote a letter to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, my dear sir, we are in precarious conditions since 3 generations. Have mercy upon us. We would like to, follow in your footsteps. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu responded that, yes, I would like to visit. While I'm going to Vrindavan, I will be passing through Malda and Jesur area, so I will come to see you first and then proceed. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there. As soon as they fell at his lotus feet, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, from today onwards, and you will not be known as Sakar Malik or Dabir Khas, but your name will be Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami. And the third one is Anupam. All right. So I'm going to Vrindavan. I will preach here for some time. So Rupa Goswami warned Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about Nawab's nefarious plans, to ostracize Hindus, extend his kingdom, but he leaves us to rule his kingdom. So we have to be very tricky, and you should be safe in your journey like that. So much very nice, friendly advice. That relationship was growing, and they generally remain humble, very humility personified from the very beginning. That was their character that they developed, because they were conversing every day Srimad Bhagavatam and cultivate the practice of it in their life. And they were becoming least interested. Sanatan told Rupa and Anupam to go. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants you to go to Vrindavan first. So you should go. And he might be waiting for you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be waiting for you. So, fine. And Rupa Goswami became the ideal, person to distribute his wealth, 50% like that. 50% or 25% was the emergency cause. They left for Sanatan to us. But he distributed amongst the family members, among the worthy Brahmins and the needed people. So much, gold coins were the ruling currency was there. So in this way, we know that Rupa and Sanatan left. And as soon as they came to Prayagraj, they heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming back from Vrindavan, and he is staying at that Brahmana's place. What is his name? Chandrasekhar Acharya. He happened to be a brother-in-law of Sanatan Goswami. But anyway, I think he will be coming in picture when Sanatan Goswami would be coming. But Rupa and Anupam, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew something about Anupam. Anupam would not be surviving much. So most of the teachings were given to um, Rupa Goswami only. So he was instructed to excavate the places of pilgrimage in Vrindavan, the Rasasthali, all the different leelas and so forth and so on. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered it. You chant, you practice the deity worship, you practice everything, and you compile also the Shastras based on Narada Pancharatra and other agamas. So uh, they uh, they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayagraj, and then they went further, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to Jagannath Puri, you know. Now, similarly, again he wanted to go to Vrindavan, so he left, but um, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seemed to be a fast walker. And Sanatan Goswami had to bribe the jailer because he was imprisoned when Rupa and Anupam left. The Nawab was very suspicious that Sanatan will also leave, so rather imprison him. Uh, but Sanatan bribed the jailer one day and told him that I'm giving you this wealth, do me a favor, you know, I'm going to pass to, and I'll be swept away in the Ganges, you know. So uh, tell uh, your honor, the Nawab, that this has happened, and I'm not there anymore. So um, Sanatan Goswami has a servant. He joined him, you know, and on the way there were some, uh, you know, dacoits village was coming, and there was a big mountain nearby. So one has to have the help, local help, to cross the mountain. So somehow or another, the and the chief of all the dacoits, they ended up talking to him if he can please help them to cross the mountain, you know. And the thief was also thinking that they are coming from, looks like from their face, coming from very rich family. They must have something with them. So we'll plunder them and kill them. But Sanatan Goswami knew that his servant was carrying uh, some gold coins. He said, uh, why are you carrying this omen of death? Why do you want us to be in such a precarious condition so we cannot save ourselves? You know, this will be a great disservice. Uh, uh, Give me all the coins you have. And he gave it to the thief. He said, please have this remuneration and make us cross. So the thief was completely bewildered by looking at several coins of gold. He said, dear sir, you are very saintly. And otherwise I was thinking, we are dacoits, you know, and we do not spare anybody. But here you are coming in front and giving us, will take as your mercy, but rest assured, we will make you cross the mountain. So in this way, Sanatan Goswami was, you know, released. But he sent back his servant that I don't want you to accompany me. So this entire story has been very nicely, lucidly described in the preface. Uh, uh, and there is a chapter on Sanatan Goswami himself. you know, because as glorious as Brihad Bhagavatamritam is, so the author. And we should understand the caliber and qualification of such exalted, Nitya Sangi of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, because they know they are coming from Golok Vrindavan to enact the pastimes, Chaitanya Sangi Sangi Nitya Siddha Kari Mani Je Jaye Vrajendra Sutapas. So, it is very important to understand the author and what is his feeling about the whole narration that he's going to, so painstakingly describe. It is not a fanciful of somebody's imagination. Everything is supported by Shastra. And Sanatana Goswami, is no wonder an erudite scholar. His scholarly aptitude will be also seen, but how methodically the increments of higher and higher impetuses and the ecstasies and in the exchange of love between pure devotee and the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been described. In the second part, Sanatana Goswami is taking much more in detail from the essential aspects of the bhakti from Bhauma level. In the first part, Bhauma level, and then the Swarga, heavenly level, and other levels are there. But there is a journey that Narad Muni has to take. But here the Gopakumar in the second volume is taking the journey very systematically, stepwise, higher and higher and higher. And yet, somehow or another, because that Gopal mantra he was given by Kamakhya Devi, it is the secret for him, for his promotion and development. And as if it is, allowing the devotee to reach and enjoy that highest platform of the material nature till Mahakala. This realm has to be understood. We need to look also into the recent chart of Brahma Samhita, where these descriptions of Brihad Bhagavatamritam are also located. Where does Mahakala stay? There is a Kailas which is crossing the boundary of Virja, opposite Mahakalapura. That is the spiritual abode of Shankar, who is converting himself into Shankar. Where does the the impersonalist, are thinking that they would be having the highest Aruhya Krichena Paramapadam Tata. What do you mean? So much detail and how they are trapped in Mahakalapura that Lord Shiva checks them out, not allowing them to get liberated. They think they are liberated. Yanir Arvindaksha Vimukta Manina Tai Astabhava Avishuddha Buddhaya Aruhya Krichena Paramapadam Tata Patanti Adha Anadat Yushmadam Raya. Its impersonalists do not take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. And they think that they have reached the Kaivalya Pada of course it is within the material coverings of the earth, water, fire, air, ether, and the subtle coverings are there, covering the entire physical and cosmic manifestation. And above that is Mahakalapura. So even one who is giving up the material conception of life and they think they have merged into Brahmajyoti, but actually they cannot reach Brahmajyoti. Lord Shiva checks them out and gives almost a very illusory effulgence, because it's right across the uh, the Virja river. So Brahmajyoti is very, very shining there. So they think they enjoy this um, position, which is called Kaivalya Mukti. In Kaivalya Mukti, there is nothing they think higher, but they fall off. Patanti yada, another Yushmadangra. They have not taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. From the toenail, tip of the toenail, the effulgence of Brahmajyoti that arise, it is unfathomable by Brahma even. What to speak of this so-called impersonalist, you know. So Sanatana Goswami puts such a minute details of actually what happens. And Sukadeva Goswami's, slokas are there, and they are being cited to accommodate and justify the arguments of Sanatana Goswami in Brihad Bhagavatam. So it becomes like a study, back and forth, back and forth. It means it will sharpen our devotional service. It will put us on the threshold of appreciating at least such a literature that otherwise it's not available. So Brihad Bhagavatamritam Prabhupada recommended. And I think Gopi Paranandan Prabhu was quite fitted to translate it. So this is quite interesting. When Sanatana Goswami came to Vrindavan, because he is the senior-most of all Goswamis that came to help Rupa and Sanatan, Lokanath, and other even so many personalities to excavate the hidden places of pastimes in Brajabhumi. There were no temples, nothing. So all these stories of Sanatana Goswami is coming in. And there will be citation from Bhakti Ratnakar and all these historical events that were taking place. So we cannot bluff, or we can't just make up something. It is hardly 535 years back that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu invented. And what to speak, Sanatana Goswami, he was the Acharya for even Rupa and Jiva and Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta Goswamis, He took up the position, as the guru of all the Goswamis. So that is the nature, and we cultivate the same kind of hierarchical approach to take shelter at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and then on and on and on. then we will be able to appreciate the commentaries of our predecessor Goswamis. Jiva Goswami is also, uh, very, very great stalwart. But as far as the Rasika attitude was concerned, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has been the very prominent Acharya in Vrindavan. So when Sanatana Goswami arrived in Vrindavan, he started associating with the local Brijvasis. And he would have bhajan kutir at Mansi Ganga in Chakleshwar Mahadev's place. And he became so popular amongst the Brijvasis. They called him, he's the Guru. They worship him as the Guru. On Guru Purnima day, they shave up. When Sanatana Goswami passed away, every Brijvasi shaved up. Therefore, they call it Muriya Baba. Sanatana Goswami used to keep his head so clean. His name was Muriya Baba. And today also, Muriya Purnima is a big festival for Brijvasis. They do the parikrama of Vrindavan, and they remember. Sanatana Goswami was so popular amongst Brijvasis, and he will mix so easily, and he will talk some trivial, questions to them. How are you? How everybody in your family is doing? Nothing of a highly philosophical talks. No, Brijvasis are simple. But the nature of Brijvasis is to become so familiar and take him as one of their own. So being a sadhu, they will respect him, but they will come and consult him. And for anything and everything, and Sanatana Goswami was very famous to deal with them like that. Muriya Baba, Otherwise, all the Goswamis were very strict. But Sanatana Goswami was so much like a family member in the Brijvasi's house. And he would have circumambulation of the entire Govardhan every day. And he would check for the welfare of other Goswamis. Like one day, Raghunath Das Goswami was sitting on the bank of Radhakund, and a tiger was drinking the water nearby. But Sanatana Goswami saw that the beautiful girl is also there near the tiger. Tiger drank water and went. So Sanatana Goswami went near and chastised Raghunath Das Goswami. Why are you giving trouble to Radharani to protect you? Can't you make a hut for yourself and stay and do your bhajan safely? And Raghunath Das Goswami said, I don't know, but since Radharani is having so much mercy on you, she herself is protecting you. Otherwise, there was a ferocious tiger drinking water when you are absorbed in thought of her. So these are the incidents that he will want to check on everyone. He would go to Terkadam to see how Rupa Goswami is doing fair in his bhajan kutir there, like that. So, and they were all absorbed individually, but then they collectively also come together and concern each other. Very, very nice behavior they had between them, and they compiled Gulf of literature, transcendental literature, and we know the glories of that, But amongst them, Brihad Bhagavatam has a special place where Rupa Goswami has described in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which was compiled first on the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sanatana Goswami praised to Rupa Goswami that please benedict me that I absorb your mood to describe the Bhakti Tattva through the authorities like Narada Muni and put in the hands of all the great Vaishnavas. I hope everybody will be enlightened by this compilation. So he respectfully even, becomes so grateful to his younger brother, Rupa Goswami, to, look into his Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Rupa Goswami afterwards he wrote Lagu Bhagavatamritam too. So it is a beautiful transcendental competition in compilation, and we are the beneficiary. So I hope I won't take much time, but I'm just giving the prelude to the, the glories of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So I would like to stop here. If anybody has any question, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Wonderful narration of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, enlightening us, giving us the pointers to study more deeply and implement on day-to-day life. I think we have Amrutanand Prabhu as a question. Please go ahead, Amrutanand Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance, all Krishna Prabhupada. Maharaj, the point you made was pretty significant, and it removed a huge doubt from me about Mayavadis merging into the Brahma Jyoti, and then after millions of years they fall back. So you mentioned that it is just an illusory what Lord Shiva creates, and they really can't go to the Brahma Jyoti, which is part of Krishna.
That's correct.
So who goes to the Brahma Jyoti, Maharaj?
Brahma Jyoti goes the devotees, those who are going to Vaikuntha. That is the point of liberation. And the devotees will be guided by 400 Vishnu Dutas and take along.
So is Brahma Jyoti like a transit area, or are all the Vaikuntha Lokas in Brahma Jyoti and Goloka is also in Brahma Jyoti?
Yes, Brahma Jyoti pervades everywhere. Sarvam idam khalvam Brahma. The Vedas says, Sarvam means without any reservation. Everything is compiled within the Brahman. Prabhupada says Brahman means both material and spiritual energy. Means both the worlds are within the Brahman. But Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Krishna is the foundation for the Brahman. Isn't it? So Brahma Jyoti is not a vacant place at all. It is filled with Vaikuntha Grahas in Brahma Jyoti. The impersonalist, they have no access to the real Brahma Jyoti because they cannot imagine how much effulgent it could be. Just like the four Kumaras, they have trouble. They estimated that, oh, maybe about 100 sun glare will be there. But the Supreme Lord, when he came, millions of suns arising and that glare, and they can't estimate. So the impersonalist always underestimate because they don't have any estimate, the criteria of estimation. So they end up underestimating. And there's a section of so-called very effulgent place and towards the outskirts of Mahakalapura. But it is within the boundary of Mahakala, where Lord Shiva and his associates are checking. They would not allow. Lord Shiva himself wants to go along with the Gopakumar to Vaikuntha, but he says no. He gets ready, gets him. And do you know, the 400 Vaikuntha men, they came to greet Gopakumar, but that's about it. They advise him to go back to, Vrindavan, Brajabhumi. There you will be helped. There Vishnudutas will again come and take you directly, bypassing all the aspects of the material realm. So you don't have to go to Mahakalapura again. So this Bhauma Vrindavan has a significance, that the Lord's agent will come and really there Lakshmi is there. So many different kinds of situations are there. It is not monotonous in awe and reverence. There are variegatedness too, and the Lord is also reciprocating by his pleasure. But understanding the Lord's pleasure and mercy is always under awe and reverence. People, for four kinds of liberation, they go on their desires to be fulfilled. So Mahavishnu, Lord Narayan, and Vaikuntha is fulfilling all the desires. And at the same time, devotees also want to reciprocate for the fulfilling of the desire. But these desires are still. When an avatar comes, there are different material situations there. So the liberated devotees in Vaikuntha, they will want to enact particular scene. They can become very beautiful birds and chirp. They can become mountain, hill, or a river even to create a scenario. But this is called what we call not a dynamic, interactive phase is there, but appreciation is there. So appreciation is in awe and reverence, right? So the liberated devotees, and those must be bhaktas, therefore, because they want to go ahead for devotional service. Only they will be liberated. So the devotees get a liberation which is far different from the so-called impersonalists get the liberation. Both the realms are different. And according to Sanatana Goswami, they never crossed. The impersonalists never crossed Mahakalapura. Mahakalapura is a very dark region itself. But the effulgence is there, which is coming from, exalted personalities, So when the impersonalists go there, they want to enjoy where the most reflective uh, um, aspect of the effulgence is there. But they are unable to cross even Virja. They can't step beyond Virja. So it is like that. To go to a devotee is having access to go to the state of liberation, which is called Brahmajyoti, with the help of Vaikunthavashis, and they take him directly to Vaikuntha planet. And he's being introduced, and this and that. Everything is going on. But awe and reverence is there. He sees, almost everybody, even the servants look like Vishnu. It is too difficult, confusing. Who is the Lord? He has to go through several gates. Everyone, he was thinking, this must be the Lord, I'm going to see him. But no, So one has to dive a little deeply into even understanding the reciprocation one is receiving from Lord Vishnu. And he is with his consort Lakshmi there. So anyway, this is the realm which has been very nicely explored more by Sanatana Goswami. And you will find extraordinary symptoms in all other places. Even in 14 bhuvanas, when Narad Muni was passing through, he was having so many different experiences. Even Gopakumara has to pass through. Variegated experiences were there. Anybody else?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Go ahead, Jagdish Prabhu.
Raise his hand. And
go ahead.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, then pranam. All glories to you, all glories to Prabhupada and devotees. Maharaj, I have one question. You mentioned that the Sanatana Goswami relationship with Brajavasi. And just I'm trying to understand, like even I met some of the devotees, the Prabhupada, the ISKCON. And he asked me the questions like the Brajavasi. I'm Maharaj fortunate by the Thakurji mercy belongs to the Braj Mathura. But he asked me that like how you people read the Shastra or don't read Shastra, like why the people don't read the scriptures there. I told they are like doing the Thakurji worship, Tulsi Aarti, offer, and then take prasadam and busy the day-to-day activities. So his doubt like why they don't read the scriptures and over there, why they don't chanting. So that kind of question he was asking. So Maharaj, just I need your, that what to like.
The Brijvasis, they have inherited, the guaranteed, conclusion of their life, worship only Kana, nobody else. He is the best, and they will do anything for him. They are simple. They may not be able to exert any kind of political pressure or anything. Now, they are so simple, and the simplicity is in treating the devotees. Have you come to Parikrama in Vrindavan sometime?
Yes, Maharaj. I just few years back came in USA. Before that, we used
Did you,
to.
yeah, did you go for Madhukari?
Yeah, Maharaj.
Uh, and you don't have to pay them anything except love and concern. Sanatana Goswami was doing that. There was no exploit, nothing. So simple is their behavior, but they are closer to remember Krishna. They are very, very close to recite whatever the local songs are concerned, you know. But the point is that they all naturally love Sri Krishna. Anything, they have no entry of any other demigod or even 400 form Vishnu. They have no entry in their house.
Yeah, Maharaj, like I see the parents, they like the scriptures reading point of view, they were not having time because the farmers, but they do like worship Thakurji so much and love for them. They don't like even sleep without offering the milk or this to Gopalji, or we call the Thakurji there. Even like I remember some incident when I was child, like we missed something offer, but my mother noticed that in the night, like you missed something milk today to offer Thakurji. So that kind of incidents we remember. But the scriptures point of view, the ISKCON devotees ask me these questions: why they don't read the scriptures? Why don't they do the chanting? This,
They
so
don't
I'm
need.
not having answer for that.
They are directly in loving relationship with Krishna, uh, which is the culmination of all the readings they exhibit. You know, even little whatever they inherit, but they exhibit, and they are always guaranteed to come back to Godhead.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Harikishar Prabhu, go ahead. Next.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Maharaj, just a small question. So you, in the class, we discussed that in Mahakala Dham, like all these liberated or these Gyanis will go there, right? But is that the same Dham where the, I heard in one of the previous classes long time back that all the associates of Lord Shiva, they also go there,
Yes,
like, those Bhutas, Pretas and all those.
definitely. But they do not go and join the impersonalist, that they are enjoying, and they reject them. But they have a corner which is so, so-called brilliant. They feel that it is the same as Brahmajyoti. No, this is how they are cheated. But Lord Shiva is always accompanied by his associates in Mahakalapura, and they are welcoming anybody from outside. Means he must have done so much, and if he's a devotee, Lord Shiva is becoming so pleased to accompany him, giving up all his followers behind. Even Parvati will also be forgotten at that time. Lord Shiva is overwhelmed by the presence of a devotee because he is supposed to go ahead from here.
Thank you, Maharaj.
And how one has to go ahead from here, it depends of your mantra.
Right.
Maharaj, we lost your audio.
Then you'll be accompanied by the 400 Vishnu Dutas to take you first to the place of liberation. That is, 4 kinds of liberations are given. That is the Vaikuntha. Merging into Brahmajyoti is a wishful thinking. Actually, it is not there.
Thank you, Maharaj.
The citations, no citations are given, just like Shishupal. People saw that Shishupal's soul was merging in the body of Krishna. But do you think? No, Krishna protects Shishupal's soul and places him back where he belonged. So where is the Sayuja Mukti? There is nothing like Sayuja Mukti. All these different kinds of muktis have been so lucidly described, with a very distinct character of each other, I mean, we can really appreciate Sanatana Goswami's writing. For laymen, yes, it is very good. It's not highly philosophical because you immediately get references from Srimad Bhagavatam in the form of arguments, Look.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Today we have read about the Gopakumar stuck with deity worship, and the deity worship has to be understood properly. And it says, well, the arguments are against two, so people are bewildered. Deities are sum total. They have no difference between the personality of Godhead and in his deity form. There's no difference. So how to go on that level to understand when we greet the deities, when we worship at home? I mean, what a closeness he is trying to describe. And the Shastra says, be aware, your mentality should be pure. Otherwise, criticism on deity worship will come like Arche Vishnu Shiladhi, Guru Shu Narmati, Vaishnavar Jatir Buddhi Nargi. To worship the deity is an idol, Shila, stone, metal. No, that is not good. That is a hellish mentality. So why would you want a deity to be criticized? Deities are beyond criticism, but it is our hellish mentality, that want to criticize. But the Shastra says, as a warning to an aspiring devotee who wants to become more serious and deeper in deity worship. Because deities are not dead. Paramatma is alive, even in the deity form. Then Sanatana Goswami explains with so many citations, it is mind-boggling that we are revisiting, teachings of Kapila Dev to Devahuti, and in the matter of deity worship, he wants. For a pujari, he has been given so intimate association with the deity, and the way he treats the deity, he has to treat the congregation also the same way. If he mistreats, then his service to the deity will not be there. Because all the congregation have in their heart Paramatma. So the pujari's attention should be on Paramatma, sitting in everyone's heart and can't mistreat, because he is the worshipper of the deity. There is no difference of Paramatma sitting in the deity and the congregation. I mean, so deep, so serious, so much with invigorating, spirit and appreciation that Sanatana Goswami has been, putting all this so clear cut. So please study like Bhagavatam. You know, it's not simply a reading matter, but it can be scrutinizingly studied. All right.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Go ahead, Ashwasha Karna Jagannath Prabhu, quickly. I think already 9:21. Maharaj, you are
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dandavat Pranam Maharaj. Very nice lecture and wonderful lecture. So I apologize. I'm very lazy to. I have not completed the Bhagavatam yet, but I want to ask this. Sridhar Bhagavatam is the advanced subject, but can you tell me that what are the in Bhagavatam all the stories they are in here? Sridhar Bhagavatam you can get all the story is whatever we got in Bhagavatam, or there is something extra there in Brihad Bhagavatam, and what are there?
There is nothing extra. It's all about devotional service and how it is to be understood and acquired.
My question is, Maharaj, that whatever the story you are reading in Bhagavatam, or every story, all the stories in Brihad Bhagavatam, or different? There is something different.
No, the essence of teaching is there. There are no stories to be understood. All right?
Yes.
There are no stories, but it is a journey of a devotee or an aspiring devotee, even by accident, if he comes under the holy name of the Lord alone. So to extol the Bhakti Tattva, the holy name, how it will send you back home, back to Godhead with Lord Shri Krishna, who is that possessor of the holy name. How you build relationship with him. You are stuck with Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and you will have to advance. So it's a what you call diagnosing our health of devotion. Diagnosing the health of our devotion. Sanatana Goswami takes us. Where are we? You follow my point?
Right. Got the point. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam, Maharaj. And Dandavat Pranam, everyone.
Okay. Anyone else?
That's okay now?
Yeah, one quick question. I think Amritanand Prabhu is asking, Maharaj, to clarify the point, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you said, is to benchmark our spiritual progress. This is for all levels of sadhakas. Correct, Maharaj? Neophyte to Uttama. It doesn't require a level of consciousness, etc., to read and implement in our practices. That is the question.
The Brahman from I think what is that, Avantipur? He is not at all qualified, but somehow or other he wanted to become rich and went to Kamakhya to give to get the blessings, and Kamakhya gave him the mantra as the blessing. But the mantra means the holy name that generates the form of the Lord too, and that is his worshipable deity. There, the journey is started. He doesn't know anything about any other religious processes, or he doesn't know anything in detail except these two things. chant the holy name that he was given in the form of mantra, and the Lord will be pleased to you. Oh, he travels everywhere. Oh my God. And he didn't have anything, but yet he can become perfect simply on the strength of the holy name.
Thank you,
Got
Maharaj.
it? Very well.
Amritan Prabhu, is that okay? Yeah, more questions.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you very much.
Very well.
Okay. Madhubal Prabhu, I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. It was wonderful hearing from you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hmm.
Many things over the years we hear about Sayujya Mukti and merging into Brahma Jyoti. Now you are clarifying that from Vedavysapriya about the position of Brahma Jyoti and what kind of Mukti, if at all there's a Mukti, the Sayujya Mukti. Or the impersonal is gets. So, thank you, Maharaj. There are no questions, Maharaj. Thank you for
All right.
spending time with us. We would like to hear more about Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Then we should start something.
Yes, Maharaj. We'll try to see if we can start some sessions, systematic sessions. Yes, Maharaj. Will you be available?
We'll have to look into that.
Okay.
Because every day Brihad Bhagavatamritam in English is going on.
Okay.
And but that is from 6 o'clock in the morning to 7:30. So if you can join where we are, reading commentary, and something in relationship, to our experience, we can, discuss even so many.
Okay.
That is India time, right, Maharaj? India time morning, which is 4:30 in the evening for those who are on the East Coast.
Yeah. That. And Maharaj, are these recorded somewhere?
Yes. From the very beginning. So.
Or maybe you can share, and then we can maybe give it to share with devotees. We can share by email or any link for recordings.
Yeah. We can do that. I'll be putting you in touch with one of my disciples in Australia. Is coordinating.
Sure, Maharaj. Thank you.
Right?
Sure, Maharaj.
All right. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Ki jai, vancha kalpatarubhyascha.
Maharaj ki jai.
Sindhubhyacha pattanam.
Vaishnave Namo Namah. Vaishnavrind ki Hari Bol.
Jai. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
We can announcement.
No.